strategies for getting organized. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is having a great day on today. As I always say, today is a good day to have a good day. And when we can get up and get our day going and have our health and strength, it's always a good day. Again, welcome to our training. This training will go over some of the best tips for organizing yourself so that you can be effective at advocating and having productive IEP meetings. We're going to be breaking down each section of the notebook, and we're going to provide examples for you as we go into each section. To ensure this training is helpful and relevant to you, we will be doing some interactive activities and we'll ask you to complete an evaluation at the end. The evaluation results help us continuously improve training. It should take you less than 2 minutes to complete the evaluation. Everyone completing an evaluation will receive a certificate of attendance per your request. If at any time you lose audio or video, you may call using the phone number included in your registration confirmation. Participants are encouraged to submit questions in the chat box. You will also have Q&A time at the end of the training. And we're going to moving along here. I'm Esther Wilson, education specialist and trainer, and your presenter for this training. My job is to support individuals with disabilities and exceptionalities by advocating for educational rights, providing guidance with IEPs, referrals, and workshops. If you have any questions about our services, feel free to contact us. The information, as you can see, is on the screen. We're at 215 Bobby Street in Bossier City, Louisiana. And those are the numbers that you can reach us at. You can also reach me, and it'll be at the end of the webinar at www.fhfregion7.com. And my email address is ewilson@fhfregion7.com. Again, you will see that information at the end of the webinar. Today, our co host, as always, is our amazing executive director, Chanel Jackson. She will be assisting in today's webinar with any questions or communication that you put in the chat box. We are extremely excited to hear what you have to say. And I'm going to ask Chanel now to say hello to our participants.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to welcome you and thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday morning. This is part of our series, Let's Get Educated this summer. So I hope you have your paper and pencil ready to take notes. This webinar is also being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel after the end of the webinar. And I will be emailing you guys a link to the video so you can go back and reference to it at any time. But again, thank you guys for joining us, and I hope you find this information helpful and useful. And I'm turning it back over to you, Miss Esther.
All right. Families Helping Families Region 7 is one of 9 nonprofit family resource centers in the Families Helping Families Network. We are here to provide support to parents of children, youth, and adults with disabilities or special health care needs. We do this through individual assistance, information sharing, outreach, and of course, trainings. Families Helping Families Region 7 provides over 40 webinars and trainings throughout the year. So check out our calendar of events at www.fhfregion7.com. Do so regularly, and there you can register for any upcoming training that might be of interest to you. We also invite you to request specific training that is currently not being offered because Chances are, if you're interested in a topic, someone else is too. And I want to tell you a little bit about uh, Lacan. Lacan, before we begin, is the Louisiana Council's Advocacy Network. Lacan supports advocacy efforts across the state to help improve policies and systems for individuals with disabilities and their families. Lacan focuses on making sure people with disabilities have the opportunity to live in their own homes, be included in their schools, work in their communities, and fully participate in everyday life. Their advocacy work includes important areas such as community home based services, education, employment, and community inclusion. Lacan is made up of individuals with disabilities, family members, and professionals who want to use their voices to help create positive change. There are many ways to get involved, and your level of participation is completely up to you. Our Region 7 Lacan leader is Mimi Webb. If you would like more information or would like to get connected, you can email her at mwebb at lacanadvocates.org. Again, mwebb at lacanadvocates.org. So that is Lacan, and that is your way of being able to reach our Lacan leader. So we're going to start the presentation today with a quick icebreaker activity. And this will allow you to participate or practice in participating in the chat box. I hope it's going to be fun for you. Your answers for these can be one word or two-word answers. For each question, I'll give you about 10 seconds to respond. And if you find, that you need a little bit more time, if you're thinking, just say something to us. And again, Chanel is going to be monitoring the chat box. So here we go. Now, I'm going to ask you, would you rather eat nothing but vegetables or nothing but fruit? And I'm going to be the first to answer that. Fruits are my favorite, but I also love vegetables. I'll take a good veggie salad any day with a lot of vegetables just going mixed up in my salad. So I'm going to say either for me. I mean, I'll take the fruits and I'll take the vegetables. Chanel, what about you?
Oh boy. Can I say meat? Can I say protein?
No.
But if I have to pick one, I would definitely say I'll take vegetables.
Take vegetables.
I'll take vegetables. So the chat is going crazy. Okay, so we have Wallace. He said he can't do it. He needs both. I definitely understand that, Wallace. It looks like it's half and half. You have half of the people saying fruit, you have half of the people saying vegetables. So we have some good, healthy people in this webinar. God bless you.
All right. Wonderful. So Chanel just want meat, but we're
I
gonna
just want
be
protein. I
we're
just
gonna
want
be
meat.
healthier than you are. We're gonna have fruits and vegetables.
Exactly. April says she wants both too. So gosh, you guys are so healthy.
Oh yeah. All right, let's see. Fruits and vegetables. Okay, now this is a great one here. It says, would you rather work as a full-time nanny or a full-time cook? And I got a quick answer for that one. Neither.
I know
Me,
that's right.
I don't want to be nobody's nanny, and I'm tired of cooking. Okay. I watch the grandkids here and there, but I'm not going to be anybody's nanny. What about you, Chanel?
I am with you. Can I just retire? Because I don't want to be a full-time cook. I don't want to be a full-time nanny. I don't want to be either. We have a few people in the chat that agree with us, Miss Esther. They don't want to be neither. We have some that says they want to be a full-time cook. For those that want to be a full-time cook, you are more than welcome to come to my house, and be my full-time cook.
Mine, mine as well, because I'm just not about that cooking. No,
We
but
have
that's good.
yeah, we have a few people that says nanny, and I could definitely understand that. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for
Well, I'll
participating.
watch the grands every now and again, but I'm not about to be a nanny. Okay, let's see. I said neither at this age. Okay, last icebreaker. Would you rather go on an all expense paid cruise or live in Hawaii? And me, I said, all aboard. Cruise me, please. Okay. I visiting Hawaii, yes. But living there, no, I don't think so. I think I'll pass. Chanel, you've been to Hawaii. Would you like to go live there? You want to go on a cruise.
I have definitely been to Hawaii and I am going back for my 50th birthday. So I'm definitely excited about that. But I'm taking that cruise because it is expensive to live in Hawaii. So I think I'm taking that cruise. And in the chat, we have a couple of people say cruise by myself, cruise, live in Hawaii. We had one person that said neither. Um, so we got a lot of good different opinions, but for the most part, I think cruise has it. Everyone is in agreement with us, Miss Esther. They would rather take that cruise than to live in
Yes.
Hawaii.
Right. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Look, I want to just say this right now. I'm hearing some it's kind of cutting in and out. And I want to say this to everybody. Where I am right now, we are having cell tower issues. They were all day yesterday and they are today. And I hear Chanel voice kind of cutting in and out. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
Okay, great. All right. Aye, aye, Captain. All right. So we're gonna move
Cute.
forward.
Aye, aye, all aboard.
Yeah, all aboard. All right. Um, Today I hope our learning goals will increase your knowledge, and I hope it increases it on frequently used acronyms and bulletins related to IEPs, helping you organize yourself for the next IEP meeting, important things to do before you go to the IEP meeting, a list of resources available to help support you throughout the process. And I'm going to say to those who, Chanel said to get your pen and paper, I'm going to advise that if you have a phone that you can take screenshots of certain things, I would do that as well because it really helps me to go back on my phone and look at a lot of things. I don't write as fast as I used to. So I think taking a screenshot would be great too. So we're going to do a little check-in process. We want to make sure this training is useful. And one of the ways we do that is with a check-in process. So I'm going to ask you to participate in a poll with 5 statements. And I want you to respond to each of these statements with one of the following responses. Strongly agree, agree, disagree, strongly disagree, and not applicable. Now, these are your statements, and you can write this down and share it with us later at the end of the webinar to see how well you did, or did you just know everything from the very beginning? But here are your statements. Number one, I feel confident in knowing how to prepare for my child's IEP meeting. I feel confident in knowing how to prepare for my child's IEP meeting. Number two, I know how to write a good parental concern statement. I know how to write a good parental concern statement. Number three, I understand how to get organized and be prepared for my IEP meeting. I understand how to get organized and be prepared for my IEP meeting. Number four, I understand the importance of each section of the IEP notebook. I understand the importance of each section of the IEP notebook. And number five, I feel confident in my ability to be assertive in the IEP meeting if necessary. I feel confident in my ability to be assertive in the IEP meeting if necessary. So those are our poll statements. Now, throughout this presentation, I'm going to be using acronyms. And I think this is a good time maybe to, take a screenshot if you prefer. If you want to write it down, it's, left up to you. I will be providing the full meaning and then give the acronym. I might go back and forth occasionally, but I would like to furnish you with the following list of acronyms before we get started. So, in the event I don't, you will have the definition to what each acronym means, okay, in the bulletins. IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which is the federal special education law. LRE, Least Restrictive Environment, and that's the place your child should receive their education. FAPE, Free, Appropriate Public Education, which is the cornerstone of IDEA or IDEA. IEP, Individualized Education Plan, the plan that directs all special education and related services. ODR is officially designated representative. This is the person authorized to sign off and commit school district resources. SMART goals is how each IEP goal should be written. Goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, results oriented, and timely. Now, Louisiana Department of Education has three bulletins to guide school districts in ensuring IEPs are developed as intended by IDEA. And these are Bulletin 1508, the Pupil Appraisal Handbook, Bulletin 1530, the IEP Handbook for Students with Exceptionalities, and Bulletin 1706, the Regulations for Implementation of the Children's with Exceptionalities Act. We're going to get started with our IEP binder, and you see a picture on the screen. So, getting organized is very important. And considering creating an IEP notebook, I think is the ideal thing to get organized. So, briefly, I want to go through the sections of that notebook and explain each one. This can be the key to an effective IEP meeting. Nobody wants to hear about what someone said, but you can't remember who, or what someone sent you, but you lost the paper. Instead, organize all documents in a way that makes sense to you. We recommend a basic IEP binder, 2 to 3 inch, 3 ring binder is usually the perfect size to keep a school year worth of documents. Additionally, this allows you to put all of your paperwork in one place and easily find the information you need throughout the year, not just throughout the IEP meeting. So, getting organized. All right. These are some tips that help bring your documentation to you. And so hopefully you've already created a binder or implemented some sort of organizational system for all of your paperwork, even if you don't have a binder. So this alone is going to give you a lot of confidence. When you enter the room, you will already know you have all the documentation you need, along with your list of priorities to be an equal team member. Always have note paper to take notes. And one of the sections in your IEP binder is for IEP notes. So take as many notes as you'd like. Some parents like to go home and type them up and then put them in their binders, and others just leave them as they're written. Bring a copy of your parental concern statement, even if you already sent them to the IEP team, and make sure what you sent is what has been entered. Use our SMART goals template when the team is talking about goals. Every IEP goal should be specific, measurable, attainable, results oriented, and timely. And often things may pop into your head, but it might not be the appropriate time to bring them up. We refer to those things as parking lot items. We park them until it's time to bring them up. You can create your parking lot for things that pop up along the way. If at the end of the meeting anything is left in your parking lot that wasn't addressed, you can bring them up at that time. Information about your child. This section is all about capturing the whole child, not just their diagnosis or academic performance. It gives the IEP team a better understanding of who your child is as a person. So start by adding a photo of your child. It personalizes the binder and helps the team remember that we're talking about a unique individual and not just paperwork. Next, write out your child's strengths. What are they naturally good at? Everybody is naturally good at something. Maybe they have a great sense of humor or compassionate. They might love puzzles or they excel in art or technology. These strengths can help shape meaningful goals and accommodations. Then include your greatest concerns. What keeps you up at night? Is it academic progress, behavioral, social interactions, or something else? Be honest. This helps guide support. Also include strategies that have worked for you at home. For an example, visual schedules help reduce anxiety. Breaks after every 15 minutes. It helps my child to focus and rest and reset. This can inform the team's approach in the classroom. Include both the positive and the challenging behaviors. Knowing what motivates your child and what causes frustration gives everyone tools to better support the child. This section is a powerful advocacy piece. You are the expert on your child, and this is your opportunity to help the team understand them beyond the data. Okay, you can see the little form on the screen may be useful to you. It's info about my child. So this sheet is one of the most valuable parts of your binder. It's designed to help the IEP team see your child through your eyes. You start by including basic information like your child's name, age, grade level, and any relevant diagnosis. Then go deeper. This is your opportunity to share what makes your child unique. What are your child's strengths? And again, these can be academic, social, emotional, or even personality traits. Maybe your child is kind or loves animals, great with numbers, or has a creative imagination. I know my grandson has a creative imagination. He'll be walking around in the yard by himself and talking and looking and making gestures. And you say, "What are you doing, Leland?" He says, "I'm using my imagination." Strengths can guide goal setting and help frame discussions in a positive light. Next, you want to outline your greatest concerns. And these are the areas where you hope to see growth or improvement. It might be reading comprehension, attention span, social interaction, or managing transitions. Being clear about your concerns help ensure the IEP addresses what you're concerned about and what matters most to your family. Then describe the strategies that work best at home. This include visual aids, sensory tools, scheduled breaks, specific praise or consistent routines. Sharing this information helps create continuity between home and school. Don't shy away from including both positive and challenging behaviors. Every child has a range, and your input helps the team support your child more effectively. This sheet gives heart to the data and builds collaboration. It reminds everyone that this just isn't any student, they're someone's whole world. IEP is developed by a team, but you want to be an advocate. The parental concern section provides space for parents to provide a statement about their concerns. And this is about your child, but you have to keep your emotions under control because sometimes I have to say IEP meetings can be emotional. So you have to learn to kind of keep your emotions under control. The parental concern section of the IEP allows parents to share their most pressing concerns with the IEP team. It's a great way to document again the strengths and struggles at school and at home. And it's a great chance to tell the team who the child is beyond those test scores and the performance in school. Think about all concerns. Is the student working on grade level? Is the student making good grades? Is the student working on the same things other students their age are working on? Can the student do the same things other kids can do? In addition to academics, think about self help skills and other skills that will make a student independent. You are not limited to this tiny space. You may type as much as you need. And one of the resources we're going to be talking about is to include in the parent concern parts of the IEP. So you're going to draft your parental concerns. Some parents send the information to the teacher beforehand, asking for it to be cut and pasted into the IEP document. Regardless of how you do it, here are a few tips to keep in mind. There is not a maximum length, but you do want to keep it relevant and short as possible. Keep your language polite and professional. Try to avoid emotionally charged statements by using facts. Discuss what is and isn't working. Clearly state your concerns. Provide any recommendations or solutions you may have to address those concerns. So that's going to be in your parental draft concerns. Now, we're going to talk about the referrals section. The referral section is a key part of your IEP binder because it helps you track any evaluations or services your child has been referred to, whether by the school or by a medical professional. Start by including school referrals, and these could be for special education evaluations, for speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral support, or academic interventions. You'll want to keep a copy of the referral form, the date it was submitted, and any follow-up documentation, such as the consent forms or responses from the school. And next, you're going to include medical or clinical referrals. These might come from your child's pediatrician, the psychiatrist.
I think we lost you, Miss Esther. Are you still there? Okay, guys, let's just give her 1 minute to see if she's gonna hop back on.
Look like we bummed out here, so let's just see.
And you were on the referral section.
I was on the referral section. I don't did was that my computer or are we having some other issues?
I'm thinking it was yours. Everything on my end stayed the same, but your screen is back up, so we are good to go.
Okay, great. So, uh, let me just do this part again because I'm not sure where it went off at. Okay, the referral section is a key part of your IEP binder because it helps you track any evaluations or services your child has been referred to, whether by the school or a medical professional. Start by including school referrals, and these could be for special education evaluations, speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral support, or academic interventions. You'll want to keep a copy of the referral form, the date it was submitted, and any follow up documentation, such as consent forms or responses from the school. Next, include medical or clinical referrals. These might come from your child's pediatrician, psychologist, or specialist. Keep copies of the referral notes, any appointment confirmations, and eventually the reports or results from those appointments. Why is this section important? It creates a paper trail. If you ever need to follow up, question delays, or reference past evaluations, you have all the proof and paperwork in one place. It also ensures that everyone on the IEP team is aware of what's been recommended and by whom. You can also include notes from conversations with doctors or school staff about referrals. Date everything and stay as detailed as possible. Think of this section as your timeline of support. It shows how proactive you've been and help keep the process moving forward. Okay, now we're going to be in the meeting section. Included in this section are handouts on preparing for meetings, telephone logs, and meeting notes. This file should be used to prepare for meetings and recap previous meetings. Have an agenda to summarize the important points or things you would like to cover in the meeting. This also helps you remember what you may want to discuss with service providers like your OT or PT professionals. Sometimes important information is relayed via telephone. It's important to document phone conversation, the date, time, and the person you spoke with, and the information that was discussed. I find this important for me talking to people, especially about different things, concerning. I'm just going to use this as a prime example. Say I have appointment where a guy's supposed to be coming and replacing the top part of the stove. And I have spoken to numerous people. This has been going on since the 11th of June. Nobody has showed up, nobody has called, and everybody has different information. So it's good for me to use, even with that, just to write down things, who you spoke with and what was said, what date and what time. So it's definitely important when you're talking about your child. Whenever you're speaking with school personnel in a meeting, they keep meeting notes, and so should the parent. Maybe have loose leaf paper in this section and keep your notes in this file. Reminder for upcoming IEP meetings, a section to jot down thoughts, notes, and information that you don't want to forget for future IEP meetings. Include in this section, and you should include your priority list for IEP meetings and student information, school contact lists, include the names and contact information of members of your IEP team, as well as all service providers, and prior written notices. This is the place for correspondence parents receive from the school or from service providers. Letters that you as a parent have written and sample letters that can be used when writing the school. You want to be prepared. That's important. Tip one is to create a priority list. Write out your questions and items you want addressed. You will then want to prioritize them in the order of importance. You will also want to focus on problems and solutions and not people. Let's use this example. You're concerned about your child's reading level, and it's still significantly below his grade level. And some of the questions you would want to ask is, how will things be different this year to ensure more progress is made? Tell me about the different program you will be using and how can I support my child at home? How long will you implement this program to determine if it's successful? What is the plan if this program proves not to be successful? You'll notice that these questions aren't focusing on a teacher per se, but on the program that the teacher will be using and the process to help your child's reading ability improve. You may also want to discuss items that aren't academic in nature. And an example of that would be if your child will be changing campuses at the end of the school year, you may want to include something in the IEP about how the school will support a smooth transition. If your child is being bullied, you would want to know what is being done to eliminate the bullying. If your child has no friends at school, you may want to inquire about what the school can do to help support developing peer relationships. You may also want to include relevant information from IDEA to support your priority items. And finally, if you use an IEP binder, I recommend keeping this as the first page in the meetings section. Educate yourself. Familiarize yourself with your child's legal rights to special education. Read the parental safeguards the school usually sends home with your meeting notice. A lot of people say, well, I don't know, a lot of those. Okay. Make sure you read them. It's important. That's how you educate yourself. Parents must receive written notice prior to the IEP meeting. This notice must include the purpose, time, and location of the meeting, who will be in attendance, if a required team member needs to be excused from the meeting, the parent's right to take other participants to the meeting, the student's right to participate, and the name of a contact person if you have any questions prior to the meeting. If the meeting day or time does not work for you, please notify the school immediately to set up a new day or time. When you contact the school, be prepared to give them a few options when the available times for you to meet. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act or IDEA requires school districts to notify parents of the meeting early enough to ensure that they will have an opportunity to attend and schedule the meeting at a mutually agreeable time and place. Even though the law does not require parents to notify the school if they're bringing anyone with them, we just believe parents should always disclose this in advance as it helps foster a positive school relationship. If you will require any special accommodations to participate in the meeting, let them know that too. Some parents might need a sign language interpreter or a language translator. If the school doesn't know in advance this is needed, chances are they won't be available. The child with a disability nor their siblings should ever be expected to fill the role of an interpreter or a translator. Talk to other parents or families helping families and find out if you need to speak to someone else to help you along the way to be helpful to you and other parents. Like when you have support groups, parent support groups, talk to those parents and you may be able to find out something from them that worked for them. Every parent may have a different experience in their meeting, and these experiences may help you have a more productive meeting. This is especially important if you believe the meeting might have a negative tone. It would be great to meet with parents that felt their meetings were productive and positive. Keep in mind, if you speak to a parent that has had negative experiences in an IEP meeting, I'm sorry, please don't assume that your meeting will be negative. Many IEP meetings are held annually without any negativity. Parents are always welcomed to call their FHF centers and ask for assistance in preparing for your IEP meeting. Create a research list. If needed, create a research list to determine if you need to do any researching. For example, if your child isn't making progress on a specific goal, you might want to research to determine why this is a problem, and you'll be able to offer positive solutions. So that's an important part of your child's IEP meeting. You need to know your team. Before the meeting starts, make sure the required IEP team members are present. IDEA states the following are IEP team members: the parents of a child with a disability, not less than one general education teacher of such child, if the child is or may be participating in the general education environment, not less than one special education teacher or where appropriate, not less than one special education provider of such child, a representative of the school district who is qualified to provide or supervise the provision of specially designed instruction to meet the unique needs of children with disabilities. The person needs to be knowledgeable about the general education curriculum and is knowledgeable about the availability of resources of the school district. An individual who can interpret the instructional implications of evaluation results, who may be a member of the evaluation team, other individuals who have the knowledge or special expertise regarding the child, including related service personnel as appropriate, and whenever appropriate, the child should attend. We believe it's always a positive thing to operate on the premise that the student with a disability may have some vital contribution to planning his or her own educational program in future. Students must be invited to attend IEP meetings if the purpose of the meeting will be the consideration of post secondary goals for the child and the transition services needed to assist the child in reaching those goals. However, until a child reaches the age of majority, Louisiana law, which is 18 years of age, unless uh, the rights have been given over to someone else. So, members, it's important. Now, in the question, notes, and concerns, these are the stay calm and ask question times, okay? You, the parent, are an important member of the IEP team. You know your child better than anyone else and know things about your child nobody else knows. It is a huge mistake to not value yourself as important and an equal member of your child's IEP team. Other team members may have degrees, they may wear a shirt and tie, and have fancy titles, but that does not mean their opinions or suggestions have more worth or qualifies them to necessarily have more knowledge of your child's needs and the best strategies to meet those needs. The purpose of the IEP meeting is to work as a team and develop the best plan for your child. IDEA would have never put such an emphasis on parental participation as a requirement if parents was not essential to their children. Therefore, feeling intimidated is not an option, parents. Attending an IEP meeting can be emotional for some people, so try to stay calm if you disagree with something being said. If you feel like you're unable to stay calm or find yourself getting too emotional, ask for a break. Tell the team you'll need to reconvene the meeting at another time. Even if the meeting is being held on the expiration date of your current IEP, the district can still reconvene the meeting without an interruption of services. As a parent, don't ever feel like you can't ask questions. There is a lot of special education and curriculum jargon going on. The professionals on the team may use the words and often forget. Parents don't know what it means all the time. So anytime you don't understand something, ask questions. If you ask a question and don't understand the answer, if it doesn't make sense to you, keep probing until you understand. Even if you don't agree, you want to at least understand. And that's why we tell parents a lot of times to take screenshots or write down the 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 definitions or to the acronyms. So when they're using this, even if it's on your phone or in your notebook, you can refer back to that section so you'll understand exactly what they're talking about. Some parents find it very difficult to stay focused and not to get too emotional. We like to tell parents to think about this as a business meeting. You're going to meet with a group of individuals to discuss important things about your child. Some parents report if they dress more professionally, they get more respect. So, parents, don't show up in your pajama pants and your hair rollers. Remember, the entire team is all humans, and as much as we don't want to admit it, we can judge people incorrectly. Do what you need to do to put yourself in the best place mentally to accomplish the goal. So now we're going to have a little participant sharing time. And the question is, what are some things about your child that you could share with the IEP team that would be helpful? You can put it in the chat, and Chanel, let us know what you shared with us if you want to share.
And while we're waiting on people to put what they want to share in the chat, I'll just share. When my son was in school, one thing that I shared with the IEP team is that because he had a speech impairment, He was really shy about speaking in front of groups or, in front of the class and everything like that. So calling upon him to read out loud probably was not a good idea. Or if he could have some type of alternative method when it came to presenting presentations. And so there was one teacher who the class had to do a PowerPoint presentation, but he actually allowed my son to do his in movie style. So he was able to develop a movie and he was able to do a voiceover on the movie, which was really, really cool. And actually, the teacher ended up implementing that as an option for all students.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that with
And
us.
then Davelyn, she put in the chat learning styles or triggers.
Okay. Thank you. That's true. Do we have any more input?
I don't see anything else in the chat.
Okay. So now we're at the correspondence section. The correspondence section is where you keep records of all written communication between you and the school, including letters, emails, and notes. This is especially helpful when you need to reference what was said, what was promised or requested during the IEP process. Start by including any formal letters you've sent or any that you've received, like requests for evaluations, meeting invitations, follow up letters after IEP meetings, or letters addressing concerns. Be sure to date each letter and, when possible, keep a copy of how and when it was delivered. Like for example, your email confirmation or certified mail receipt. It's also helpful to organize these in chronological order so you can easily follow the flow of communication. In this section, you might also want to include sample letters, templates for common situations such as requesting an IEP meeting, asking for an evaluation, disagreeing with part of IEP, following up after a phone call or meeting. These samples can serve as helpful starting points if you need to write a new letter in the future. We recommend using clear, respectful, and specific language in your communication. Remember, documentation helps protect your rights and supports effective advocacy. This section is not just for holding others accountable, it's also a way to demonstrate your professionalism and preparedness for your child's IEP meeting. Documentation. Wow. Documentation is so important. It's important. I remember in college, I had a professor that drove that point home. If it isn't in writing, it didn't happen. So, definitely you want documentation. There is nothing worse than leaving a meeting and saying to yourself, why did I sign that? Or why didn't I mention? When you leave the IEP meeting, you want to have no regrets about any action you've taken or not taken. Here are common regrets parents have reported to us. I knew I should have made them write that in the IEP. You may have heard that saying, or if it isn't written down, it never happened. Yes. Well, this can't be any truer than an IEP. Make sure everything is written on the IEP. If it doesn't make it to the IEP, chances are it won't happen. Regardless of how minor it seems to be, if you expect it to happen, it must be in the IEP. If you and the team are unsure where to put something, tell them to include it in your parental concerns section. Why did I sign the IEP when I didn't agree with everything? If you have any doubts at all, don't sign the IEP. Call it a mother's intuition or just a gut feeling. But if your gut is telling you something isn't right, then usually it isn't. Don't feel rushed to sign the IEP document. Ask for a completed copy to take home and read it again and share with your spouse or whoever so that you can have someone proofread behind you. Why did I sign the IEP when I didn't agree with everything? That's a good question. If you have any doubts at all, again, don't sign that IEP. Why am I not more assertive? Everyone wants to be nice and polite, but sometimes you have to be assertive. Assertive doesn't mean aggressive or nasty. How can I get the resources necessary to ensure that my child receives a free, appropriate public education? Every school campus should have an officially designated representative of the school district that is allowed to sign off on the IEP and commit district resources. If parents are asking for something above and beyond that, may be more costly than normal, the officially designated representative must be truly able to make this type of decision. If he or she isn't, then the parent should insist on a representative from the school district to attend the meeting. You do not want your issue relayed secondhand. Okay. You want to be able to sell your needs firsthand to the person that will ultimately make that decision. We are now finished with our IEP tips for during the meeting. So, is there anything that anybody would like to mention? Anything that they would like to mention? If not, we are going to move right along. If your child is newly evaluated, you should receive a copy of the evaluation in advance. This is usually provided before your first IEP meeting. However, schools frequently schedule the IEP meeting immediately following the determination meeting to stay in compliance with their timeline. If the proposed meeting date does not give you enough time to think about the evaluation results and prepare for the meeting, ask for the date to be moved or propose an alternate date. Some parents want to see a copy of goals and objectives the school will be proposing. So, parents can certainly ask for this. It is not a requirement of IDEAL to receive this in advance, but schools will often provide this when requested. If your child has a health plan, do you need to get updated information from a physician or a service provider? If your child has a behavior intervention plan, requests may uh, propose changes to this plan. So this will give you time to think about these changes and if you believe they will work for your child or not. If your child sees a therapist outside of school, find out if they want to submit anything to the IEP team for their consideration. Brain dump. Wow. Within 48 hours of the meeting, I cannot stress enough the importance of dumping all of that fresh information that's in your head to paper or some electronic format. If you wait any longer, you'll start forgetting things. Make really good notes from the meeting and send follow up correspondence to appropriate school personnel if needed. An example of this will be Dear Miss Smith, thanks so much for giving me the time to express my concerns about my son Michael. We discussed so many things, but I want to make sure this doesn't get lost on your radar. You agreed to, and like number one could be help determine if a para would be beneficial in math class. Speak to the occupational therapist about communicating regularly with Michael's teachers and myself and complete the necessary paperwork to get Michael tested for assistive technology. I look forward to hearing from you in the next 2 weeks, or preferably, you can give a specific date that is about 2 to 4 weeks away. So that's for good brain dump. Now we're going to have the consent section. These two sections are just that. Anytime parents are asked to sign consent forms, parents should know what they're signing. Ask questions prior to signing and get a signed copy of the form. All evaluation reports are put in this section. Put the most recent on top and the oldest on the bottom. School evaluations. Keep a copy of your consent to evaluate and the most recent evaluation. Private evaluations, if they're applicable, keep a copy of any private evaluations. The evaluation section is one of the most important parts of your IEP binder. This is where you keep all assessments and evaluations that provide insight into your child's learning, the development, and needs. Start by including school based evaluations, such as the psychoeducational assessments, speech and language evaluations, occupational and physical therapy evaluations, behavior or functional behavior assessments, which is the FBA. Also include any private evaluations or assessment from outside professionals. These might come from developmental pediatricians, psychologists, therapists, or other specialists. If your child has had
Okay, we're gonna see if she's able to come back on. She explained earlier she was having some cellular tower issues over there, so hopefully she'll be able to come back on and finish out the webinar.
so we lost it again.
Yes, and so you were on evaluations.
Wow. I'm so
Well,
sorry that
well,
this has happened.
you explained to us earlier you were having some cellular problems over there.
I did so, but I apologize that it continues to happen. Okay, the evaluation section is one of the most important parts of your IEP binder. This is where you'll keep all assessments and evaluations that provide insight into your child's learning, development, and needs. Start by including school based evaluations such as psychoeducational assessments, speech and language evaluations, occupational or physical therapy evaluations, behavioral or functional behavior assessments, which are your FBAs. Also include any private evaluations or assessments from outside professionals. These might come from developmental pediatricians, psychologists, therapists, or other specialists. If your child has had evaluations through early steps, child find, or hospital, these go here too. Make sure each document is dated and labeled. You can use sticky notes or a checklist to mark what each evaluation is for or to highlight key findings. This section is especially useful during IEP meetings when the team is discussing eligibility, goals, or services. Evaluations tell the story of your child's strengths, challenges, and how they learn best. Having everything in one place means you can quickly reference past reports or compare progress over time. It also is a great place to track when evaluations are due, which is typically every 3 years unless requested sooner. Remember, you have the right to request evaluations and to disagree with school evaluations. If you disagree, independent educational evaluation, which is an IEE, at the school's expense, and keeping your documentation organized help you advocate effectively. So we're heading toward the end, and we are in the IEP IFSP 504 section. Okay. In the IEP, which is the Individualized Education Plan, the IFSP, which is the Individualized Family Service Plan, and R 504 are put in this section. Put the most recent on top and the oldest on the bottom. Copy of the Parents' Right booklet, copy of the current IEP, the Behavior Intervention Plan, if applicable, and disciplinary notes, if applicable. You place all medical records, including general health history, immunization records, vision and hearing screenings, and other medical records, including prescriptions. If your child has specific health concerns, you should keep a separate medical binder. Medical records section. This section is dedicated to any medical information relevant to your child's education and support needs. It's especially important if your child has a medical diagnosis. If they're taking medication or receive services like occupational therapy or speech therapy, you want to include the diagnosis letters from the doctors or the specialists, medical evaluations or reports, therapy summaries from the OT or PT, medication lists and administration instructions, if it's relevant to the school staff, any allergy or seizure action plans, or any relevant hospitalization discharge summaries. These documents help the IEP team understand your child's medical background and how it might impact the learning, the behavior, or the classroom participation. It also ensures that accommodations or services are based on accurate and up to date medical information. Make sure to keep this section updated, especially if there are changes in diagnosis, treatments, or care recommendations. You can use sheet protectors for original documents and highlight or tab, especially important information for quick access. Remember, you are not required to share every detail of your child's medical history, just the information that supports their educational needs and helps the team develop an appropriate plan. Having this section organized shows you're proactive and prepared to help the team support your child in a safe and effective way. Now, we've kind of finished up all our pre-IEP tips. So if there are some people out there, parents or whoever with us, if you have any other great suggestions that you'd like to add, so at this time, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to do that. Maybe 15 sections.
So, what are some effective ways? What are some ways to effectively facilitate communication with the IEP team, parents, or teachers?
Yes.
Of course, email. Email is always effective. And I guess they have, I don't know what it's called now because my son hasn't been in school a long time, but is it JPANs or Dojo? That communication um I guess tool that parents and teachers can go back and forth.
Yeah. That a dojo, they have different names for it for different parishes, but I'm not sure, but that's definitely an effective way to do that.
Also, I've seen parents and teachers with notebooks. I mean, they have their own little spiral notebook that they write in each day. So I've seen that as well.
So have I, Chanel. That I've seen that as well too, having a note.
And I don't see anything in the chat, Miss Esther, so you can carry on.
Okay, I can carry on. We are going to move.
I think you accidentally put yourself on mute.
I sure did accidentally. This is the school reports section, progress reports and report cards. This is the section where you store academic report cards and IEP progress notes. that are sent home throughout the year. These documents are crucial in tracking your child's academic performance and progress toward your IEP goals. You start by placing each report in chronological order. This makes it easier to see patterns, both improvement and areas of concern over time. Keeping everything together allows you to have a clear picture of what your child is receiving, the appropriate supports. Report cards show how your child is performing, and while IEP progress reports specifically address how they're doing in relation to their IEP goals. These may be issued at the same time as a report card or on a different schedule. It depends on the school district. This section helps you to stay proactive instead of waiting for a problem to become urgent. Regular review of these documents can help you identify small issues before they become big ones. It's all about being informed and ready to advocate. Then this is the financial section. And a lot of people say, what you need this for? Well, they're always asking for information about your income to see if you qualify for certain things. So you're going to keep your W-2s and tax forms and, any updated payroll stubs or that sort to services that could they might require, proof of income for some things. Any doctor or dentist receipts that might be tax deductible or child care receipts, insurance receipts, Medicaid cards. Before sharing this information with anyone, make sure there's a legitimate reason for sharing it. So this section is for any other records that may be needed on your child, like schoolwork, photos of activities, observations, certificates or awards, or anything of that nature. And everything that needs to be remembered, especially for the evaluation, can also be put in this area if it has to do with anything financial. Okay. So if your child has a disability and needs special services, get ahead of the game by developing this habit. It's never too late. It's never too late. And this is the others section, like here's a place to keep sample schoolwork, and also you can keep their awards here. Other records of showcasing your child's growth, basically, strengths and achievements, um, any learning style that you think is unique to that child. When selecting schoolwork to include, you try to gather a variety of assignments, the math, the art, all of this, because it's applying to the child's learning and the skills, include the strengths and the areas of concern. And again, you will also want to add any certificates or awards or positive notes from the teachers. And this can boost the morale, but can also remind the team of your child's accomplishments and potential. So remember to update this section regularly and bring it with you to the IEP meetings to support your points and real life. So we've arrived here. We are better together. Home and school is a great partnership. The IEP process can be successful if everyone in the room shows up ready to listen, understand, and communicate with respect. At the end of the day, everyone should be there for the same reason, and that's to help the student achieve to his or her greatest ability. While both parents and teachers can be critical of one another, acknowledge where things are going, where they're going well, and build on those things. Okay, now this is a list of the resources, and I put this up here. You can take a screenshot of it because the Louisiana Department of Education website changed from www.louisianabelieves.com, and it's changed to what you see on the screen. So you might want to take a screenshot of that so you can have it as a reference. The Louisiana Department of Education website. So we're going to check on our check-in. Remember, I told you to write that down. I'm going to give you the statements again. Number one, I feel confident in knowing how to prepare for a child's IEP meeting. And you could have said strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree, and not applicable. Number two, how to write a good parental concern statement. Number three, I understand how to get organized and be prepared for my IEP meeting. Number four, I understand the importance of each section of the IEP notebook. And number five, I feel confident in my ability to be assertive in the IEP meeting if necessary. And so anybody want to share with us how well they did? Did you know everything, or was this helpful? Did you learn anything from it, or how did it help at all?
And while we're waiting on responses in the chat, I just want to say this webinar is called the IEP Binder, but please remember that you can use this for anything, and especially when it comes to receiving services from the state. They're going to ask you for the IEP. They may ask you for evaluations. So having this binder is not only going to keep you organized for the school system, but it's going to keep you organized from some of those services that you may try to get from the state. And you will also have more than one IEP binder. This binder will get filled really, really quick. So when your child finishes school, you may have like 5 or 6 binders, and that's okay. I've had a lot of parents telling me, hey, I started my IEP binder when my child was in the 5th grade. When they graduated, I looked up and I had 6 binders. It's okay. Make as many binders as you would like. The purpose of this webinar is just to show you how to get organized and how to keep all of those things at your fingertips, because when you are getting services for your child or for your loved one or whoever you're taking care of, these are documents that you're going to need at your fingertips.
Right.
And
So
I
that
don't see anything in the chat.
okay. All right. So the survey for the evaluation is going to pop up after the webinar. And I'm going to can't stress enough to ask you to please fill out the survey because we use this information to continuously improve the training. Everyone registered and completing the evaluation, a certificate of attendance will be given per your request. So if there was nothing in the section, I guess there has not been any questions for
No, I
me.
do have I do have one question. Brittany wants to know, is there an outline checklist or table of content for this binder that we can send her?
You know what? I should have one somewhere in my documents. If she will just
If
email
you
me.
could if you could send that to me, Miss Esther, and I would definitely send it out when I send
Okay.
out the certificate and the follow-up email.
Okay. I will try to dig in there and find that so you can send it and share it with them. So if there are no other questions, I want to thank everybody for visiting with me today in this webinar. And I'm glad that you got something out of it. I hope that it was helpful in some way. And if we can be of service to you further, please let us know. You can reach us again at 318-226-4541. That's our phone number. And my email address is ewilson at fhfregion7.com. And you can always go to our website and reach us that way as well. So thank you for participating, and I hope everybody has an awesome day.
Thank you. Have a good day.